Mahalo Hawaii from the Kamaka Ohana. For a century of making your ukulele. For a century of your inspiration and friendship.
Our Ohana authorized dealers help put the best ukuleles into your hands and into the hands of those you love. Ohana means family. Welcome to ours.
Aloha, Kalei Gamiao here from Anui Nui, USA. Thank you so much for supporting Craig and Sarah's Backyard Concert Series. We're so excited to be a part of this. We have discount codes available, so make sure you tune in and don't forget to sign up for their Artist Works program. Take care and aloha.
Ukulele Magazine is 10 years old. To celebrate, we're offering you 10% off our all-access subscription, which includes a download of every issue we've ever published. Visit store.ukelelemag.com and enter discount code BIRTHDAY to take 10% off your order.
The newly refurbished Ala Moana Hotel by Mantra, conveniently located and always an island favorite.
This is our hotel.
Now make it yours. Ala Moana Hotel, where Kama'aina always gets the best rate. Use promo code LOCALSONLY.
Holidays are right up on us here, and if you have anybody you love, maybe try thinking about hooking them up with an ukulele. It's one of those gifts that, like, every time they pick it up, if they love it, it's like,
You're gifting them a permanent smile.
Aloha, and welcome to Craig and Sarah's Backyard Concert Season 2, Concert Number 4. Thank you so much to our amazing sponsors that you just heard from, and a huge mahalo to our associate producers, patrons, and supporters. It's thanks to your generosity that we are able to keep this series free to the public. Our artist today is a multiple Hawaii Music Award winner, as well as Na Hoku Hanohana Award winner, too. She has inspired so many people, including myself, with how she shows the versatility of this amazing instrument. She is a multi-instrumentalist, a producer, and a songwriter. She has had the opportunity to perform with Tommy Emmanuel and Carlos Santana. Please enjoy Brittni Paiva.
guys. My name is Brittni Paiva. Thank you for tuning in today. Also want to thank Craig and Sarah for inviting me here to perform for you guys. And yeah, that song is called Europa, written by Carlos Santana. So yeah, it's been such a wild ride, you know, playing ukulele and performing all over, and also producing music as well. So it's been super fun. This next tune, I'm going to feature my looping sort of thing. And we're going to kind of do like a little bit of a hip hop on the ukulele. So this song is called La La La. It was made famous by Sam Smith, so hope you enjoy it. I had my Boss ME70 for the longest time, and I think I had it since like maybe 2012. It was around the time that I did the very first arrangement of Lights, and it finally died a few months ago. So, you know, me being the person I am, I need equipment that I can easily understand. I don't understand this yet. So we're still working on it, but yeah, okay. All right, so I'm going to do an original composition that I wrote, I believe, in around 2006. I started writing this on the drive from Kona to Hilo. You know, being born and raised on the Big Island, you know, that drive, you know, through Waimea, the north side of the island, it's a really beautiful drive, and especially at night when there's no, you know, light pollution, you can see all of the stars, and it's just a really magnificent sight. So I had this idea for a song, and when I got home, I started working on it, I wasn't able to finish it. I got kind of stuck at one part of the song. And so it wasn't until a few months later when I went to New York City and played a few shows there and visited the Empire State Building, went all the way up to the top, and that's when the rest of the song came to me. So I appropriately entitled it Gazing.
Aloha, Brittni. I'm so glad to have you here in our
Thank you.
backyard. I know you did a lot where you actually learned a lot on your own, but did you have any teachers or mentors? With your
I
ukulele?
actually did. So I took lessons from one of my grandfather's friends back, when I first started.
Yeah.
And I did that for 2 years. And then after that, Herb Oates Jr. was one of my mentors. And at the time, that was when Jake was kind of, coming out and being really popular. So there was the Jake crowd and then the Herb crowd. So I was the Herb crowd. And yeah, so it was his style that, you know, I really worked to kind of emulate and, you know, base my style off of. And through the years, the more I played, the more I developed my own sound.
Yes. Well, one thing that actually kind of makes a lot of sense to me studying with her, because your playing is so clean, right? And that's one of the things that I know he's known for. So I can kind of see that's one little piece of that influence that I know that I can see in your playing.
Yeah, it's a really big focus for me to, you know, make how I'm playing, you know, sound clear and clean. And, you know, the way that I see it is if I'm playing and there's, you know, buzzing all over the place or, you know, things like that, I can't convey the right emotion. You know, I want the emotion to come through in a very, you know, distractionless way.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of my philosophy and why I play the way I play.
When did you first start really touring? Do you remember?
Gosh, I think probably around 2005.
Okay.
Is when I really started touring. I was performing for 2 years at that point.
Yeah.
Doing, you know, stuff inter-island. But yeah, I think 2005 was when I really started going on the road. And I remember at first it was like a culture shock because I haven't left Hawaii prior to that.
Oh my gosh.
So, you know, being 15 or 16 years old, it's like, wow, all this stuff is out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 2005, that was actually just the year before, I think, that was when I feel like the first ukulele wave, the first wave really was starting.
Right.
Because I know that I picked it up in 2006. And a lot of that was because of seeing, of course, Gently Weeps with Jake was that year. But I love it's like you were right at the start of just that crest of all of the different festivals. So where all did you get to travel during that time?
During that time, I went to Canada, all over the U.S., except the Midwest. I haven't gone there yet. But yeah, West Coast, East Coast. I went to Japan, Australia, Guam. Yeah.
Now, I know that you got the opportunity to perform with like Tommy Emmanuel and Carlos Santana. How did either or both of those come about?
Gosh, so with Tommy Emmanuel, I think that happened first. He was playing at the same festival that I was playing at, the California World Fest up in Grass Valley. Yeah. And so he walked into the, you know, backstage area, and I'm over there, you know, sitting. So I went over and introduced myself, and because I knew Jake had played with him before. So I told him, you know, I know Jake and all this stuff. He's like, hey, yeah, come sit down. Let's jam something. So
cool.
We started playing, and he's like, hey, you want to hop on stage and play Working Man Blues? And I'm like, okay. So
no pressure.
Not at all. So I knew, like, I knew I was familiar with Tommy's playing. So I knew, like, his intro is going to be long and fast.
Yes.
So I had to keep up. So that was it was a huge opportunity, huge deal for me, and I was really excited.
Wow. And then Carlos Santana came after.
So I was in contact with his manager for a while, you know, just here and there sharing updates.
Yeah.
And I found he was going to be here on Oahu starting his tour at the Blaisdell. So I was like, I need to go. I'm going. I don't care. I'm going. So that actually happened to be the day after I got my custom uke from Kamaka.
Oh.
So I was like, you know, I'm just going to take my uke because I really want him to sign it. Like, that would be the best christening for my ukulele ever.
Yeah.
To have my idol sign it. So I went there and never got it signed, by the way.
Oh, no.
But it's okay. So he saw my uke and he's like, hey, do you know any of my stuff? I'm like, yeah, I play Europa and Samba Pati. So he said, let me hear Samba Pati. Oh. So I played, and then he said, would you like to join us on stage tonight? And I was like, holy crap.
Yes.
Yeah, so I was losing it in my mind, but, you know, I had to play it cool and whatever.
Yeah.
But yes, I said, yeah, absolutely, I would love to. So
yeah.
That experience was amazing. I don't remember it because I was so nervous.
Yes.
But yeah, so he said, you know, my guys will come and get you 30 minutes before you come on.
Wow.
And I was sitting 4th row from the stage, you know, center stage.
Mm-hmm.
So everything was like literally right here. I don't remember anything except for lifting up my hand and it's just shaking. So his guys came in and got me 30 seconds before I was supposed to go on. I had no time.
Oh my
So I
gosh.
ran with them and, sitting behind the drummer. And then he brought me out and we played Samapati.
Oh, now shortly after that, I feel like there was this period of time where people all of a sudden started to ask, where did Brittni go? Because I felt like I remember you talking about Carlos Santana in that moment. And then all of a sudden you weren't touring anymore.
Yeah.
So what were some of, I guess the main question is, what were some of the life things that happened that you weren't really able to share with folks during that time? Because I know you had a really rough patch that you started kind of going through shortly after that.
Yeah, actually, the Carlos Santana concert happened in February 2013, and all of these, this rough patch kind of started around May or June. So it was immediately after that.
Yeah.
So basically, I decided that I was gonna live for me. I was gonna live my truth, and that meant coming out of the closet.
No, that must have been so hard, though.
It was very difficult. I lost quite a few friends at the time. I didn't have a relationship with my family for a while, and I was pretty much just on my own.
Yeah.
Not really, just kind of isolated from everyone. And I would hear things from people and about me, and I'm like, none of that is true.
Right.
I'm just trying to do me.
Right.
And be happy. Like,
Yeah.
So, that lasted for about 4 years. And during that time, because the relationship that I was in at the time was very mentally and emotionally abusive, I fell into addiction to pills. And so after I was able to get out of that relationship, that was when, I was trying to heal, but there was so much going on in my mind.
Oh yeah, it's a lot to all of a sudden have to break from everything that you know and people that you know and love, and then all of a sudden be put in a completely different kind of situation where you're having to you're dealing with loss. You're also dealing with not realizing probably the troubles the relationship you were in were. Like in the moment, you don't see it, right? You can't see the forest for the trees.
Absolutely.
And then on top of that, then you also have to deal with addiction too. I mean,
Right.
you are one tough lady. Because here you are now sitting here, and but please continue. I didn't mean to stop you.
All good. So after that, finally being able to acknowledge everything that happened from being outside of it, the addiction got worse. So that's when I fell into harder things.
Yep.
And that lasted, I think, 2 years, just about 2 years. And it was so bad to the point where, I was awake for 5 to 7 days. And during that whole time, because I'd come out and because of the things that were being said about me, just from various people speculating, there was a lot of bridges that were burnt. And I've been working really hard to, repair those bridges and tell them, hey, none of this is true that's being said about how I am as a person or who I am as a person. Yes, this happened. Yes, I was addicted to stuff, but here I am, now 3 years sober, almost 4 years.
I was like, longer.
going at 4 years sober. Yeah, so I don't drink anymore. I don't do anything else, and it's been really good. It's been a blessing, and I think now people are realizing like, hey,
that stuff wasn't true, etc. And also, I think seeing just the light that you have become. I remember when it all first kind of started, because I felt like you and I first met in Utah, I think.
At the festival,
Yeah. And I always kind of felt like this sort of kindred spirit with you, where I always kind of wanted to text you and check in on you and see how you're doing. And I remember when things started kind of going south, just wanting to be able to pull, I remember Craig and I trying to throw out sort of lifelines going, you can come over here, come stay with us. Here, you can come over here, come tour, come. But just you were in the thick of it all. And
I was not able to do my music. So during that time, I made the best of it. And that's when I learned, production skills and how to EQ, things in, recording and things like that. So, and that was the best I could do because I wasn't technically allowed to perform and work with
Right.
people, and yeah. So during those years, like that's literally what happened.
Right.
You
And
know.
when you actually started doing, and it's so interesting too that going through that period kind of showed you what you love to do today, which is that production side.
Yeah, it is.
It's crazy how life works.
Not the easiest sometimes, but there's a
Yeah.
lesson in everything, and I'm grateful to still be alive, because I very well wouldn't have been a few times.
Yeah, well,
You
we
know?
are so incredibly grateful that you are still
Thank
here
you.
with us and that you are back to making music
Yes.
and helping others make music.
Thank you. All right, so for those of you that are not familiar with my work, I started playing actually my very first instrument was the piano, and I started playing that when I was about 4. So played that all the way up until 11, and when I was 11, my grandfather gave me my first ukulele, which was his mother's kamaka from the 1950s. So I learned for about maybe like a year on that. Before I graduated to a tenor size. All in all, I took lessons for 2 years. And then after that, I had to work my hardest to convince my family to let me stop taking piano lessons and stop taking ukulele lessons, because I wanted to teach myself how to play. So I did that, and then when I was 14, I picked up the guitar. When I was 16, I picked up the bass. When I was 18, I picked up the drums, and I also have opera training in there as well. When I was, let's see, how old am I now? When I was 24, I picked up music production. So that's kind of what I do now, most of the time. So it's so much fun just being able to, sit in front of the computer and create these sounds that I hear in my head, and, things that the ukulele can't do on stage, like a full-on drum set. So it's a lot of fun to just do that. But during the pandemic, one of the things I experimented with was, on the ukulele anyway, was playing with high G. And most everybody knows me as a low G player, but today I'm going to play high G for you, a couple of songs. So, yeah, let me go and grab the high G uke. All right, so I have the high G uke. I do want to make mention that, so I have a high G uke of my own. I got here today and it wasn't working. Well, actually, the low G uke was not working. Something happened with the pickup, I think because I played too hard. And so I had to restring my high G uke with the low G, and so now I'm borrowing Craig and Sarah's Ukulele. And this is the first time I'm being filmed playing Ukulele, so shout out to them. Yeah, so we're gonna kind of throw it back to the 90s here and do a little Backstreet Boys. So here's I Want It That Way. I love the 90s, all 90s music, basically. I have a very eclectic, playlist of music that I love. It ranges from, 90s music to rap and hip hop. I think my all-time favorite would be like the classic trance era, so like late 90s and maybe like the first 10 years of the 2000s up until 2010. So yeah, all of the classic trance and EDM, house, techno, all that stuff from that era is like that's my go-to. There's also stuff like progressive rock, which I really like, like Rush and Yes, all those guys. So that's a very eclectic selection of music. All right, so I'm gonna kind of take things into, I guess you would consider it R&B. We're gonna do a little bit of a John Legend here. So this is All of Me. Thank you.
IG sounds good on you.
Thank you. It's two completely different styles of playing, and it just makes me kind of think about the way my song is crafted. You know, kind of switching off and playing the same song using both high G and low G, and how different the two are. So yeah, it's so much fun. I do actually have tabs for that song on my website, so there's that. And there's some other tabs as well, and Christmas songs. If you know me, you know I love Christmas. Christmas is life, so they're up there.
So everything is looking really bright for you now. Yeah, you went through some rough stuff, but now you are a shining beacon of light, and I am so excited. What future projects do you have? What are you working on right now?
I'm actually in the process of trying to build my studio. I have been into production, so I've done some pretty huge stuff so far. So last year I think the biggest thing that I did was I guess you could call it soundtrack for the Merry Monarch fashion show.
Oh, wow.
That they had on TV. And so if you're unfamiliar with the Merry Monarch Festival, it's a hula festival that's taking place in Hilo, and it's been around for a really long time. So they had a fashion show featuring Hawaii-based fashion designers.
Wow.
And so I did the production and the soundtrack basically for the show, the entire show.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. I produced one of Marlo's songs.
Oh, she's great.
She's so fun, yeah. So I did one of her songs. I have been just like experimenting with different genres of music, and I did a rapper from Atlanta doing hip hop stuff, so that was cool. Yeah, so much fun ukulele and non-ukulele related production that's happening.
Cool. And you've got your own, are you working on an album, or are you thinking you might do it in singles? Because I know we had talked about, because you have a new single out too, don't you?
Yes, my latest single, On a Good Day, was released in September. So I really want to do a whole album. I think there's just something about releasing an album compared to singles.
Yeah.
So I really want to do that, and I kind of want to make it a big thing. Since it's been about 11 years since the last one was released.
Wow. So that's something to celebrate when you are able to get in the studio or finish the studio and really get
well, see, that's the horrible thing about being your own engineer. You're never happy with anything you record. So like once, somebody like your family, in this case my girlfriend, she's like, that one sounds really good. Okay, I'm going to save it and close it.
Yes.
Otherwise I'm going to keep redoing it.
It's good to have an outsider point of view.
Yeah,
and Jen is so lovely. So I'm glad that you're able to use her for those things.
She's amazing. Yeah.
So also one other thing I wanted to point out, I don't know if people noticed during the concert, is your really cool shirt that you are wearing.
Yes.
So this is one of yours, yeah? Oh yeah, I see the Brittni Paiva.
The BP logo in the center.
That's so cool.
It's typically always going to be the sound hole.
I love it. And people can purchase these and other cool items with the logo on it on your website?
Yes, on my website, BrittniPaiva.com.
Now, do you have any new merch coming up?
Why, yes, I do.
Oh, wow. That's so cool. So was that Eat,
Sleep, Ukulele, Repeat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, those are really cool.
So these will be available on my website. And my girlfriend, Jen, makes all the designs. So everything that's, ordered and posted up there, she does everything.
This makes me love her even more. She is a gem. Oh my gosh.
She is.
Well, those are some very cool, that's a very cool new design.
Thank
I'm
you.
super excited.
Thank you.
Now, besides, so you've got some new projects coming up. You've got some really cool projects that you just finished up. You've got some cool new stuff coming out on your website. How can people come see you? Where are you going to be so people can come see you play?
Definitely check out my website, BrittniPaiva.com. I have a calendar there that I usually keep updated.
Yeah.
But I'm most active on Instagram, so that's where the first message is going to be about where I'm performing. So
nice.
Yeah.
And is there anywhere on the mainland that you're going to be going this year?
Absolutely. I'm going to be playing at the Strathmore Uke Fest in August.
Oh my! Tell all those people we say hi. I love all those people.
James is going to be there. So James and Anne. So I'm really excited to see them. I haven't seen them in a bunch of years.
And do you think there's going to be any other spots on the mainland while you're there, or are you just going to go?
I hope so. I would like to go to the Midwest, you know, because I haven't been there yet. So I definitely want to try to.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. And it's always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Sarah. thank you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I want to first, thank Craig and Sarah for inviting me. Thank you to all the sponsors, and thank you to all of you. I think I'm going to, by tradition, invite up either Craig or Sarah to join me on a song for this last one. So, yeah. Woohoo! Yay!
2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a place that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dream to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops high above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why, oh then why can't I? Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops high above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why, oh then why can't I? If tiny little bluebirds fly above the rainbow, why can't I? Thank you so much, Brittni Paiva. It's been such a pleasure to have you here. Oh, thank you so much to everybody out there for supporting our concerts, and definitely go to Brittni's website, check out all of the great things that she has to offer, from tabs to really cool t-shirts and music, of course. And thank you to Craig Chee, the man behind the camera and the guy who's kind of taking care of it all. Thank you all so very much, and we'll see you on the next one.
All right, we talked about a lot of your big kind of trials through life so far, and one thing that we didn't bring up is being gluten sensitive. Please explain what that is and how much that's actually changed since you found that out.
So I'm actually positive for celiac disease, and it's basically been a life changer, switching to a gluten-free diet. And I feel so much better. I've dealt with stomach problems since I was a kid, and turns out that's what it was 20 years later. So yeah, it's been really amazing, just like staying away from gluten. Being in Hawaii, it's kind of difficult, but I make it work. And yeah, I just feel amazing.
How do you separate your artist kind of persona and your producer role?
I think the biggest challenge between being an artist and a producer is if I'm the artist and producer on my own stuff. That's literally the worst thing ever. I'll just be recording, the same part over and over and over again. There's nobody there to tell me, okay, Britt, that's a good take, you're done. It's never ends.
During the pandemic, what have been your worst purchases?
Probably a DJ turntable. I thought I could learn how to DJ, and then I picked it up and practiced with it for a little bit, and I was like, yeah, this is not for me. There's too many knobs and buttons and all that stuff. So, yeah.
Now, I know we touched upon this earlier with Sarah, but what are some other things that helped you kind of get out of that funk?
Definitely drinking a lot of water. That's, the thing that kind of helped me through everything. It's like an overall cure-all, I guess, if you will. But definitely surrounding yourself with positive people. That's a really huge thing. Not just, anyone coming out of, the trials that I did, but, just in general as an artist. Positive people. And I think just, trying to be grateful for the things that you do have, because there's always something worse out there. And for me specifically, I could have been in a way worse situation, and so every day I remind myself, that I'm grateful for where I am now, and that helps me stay on track.
Well, that's it. Thank you so very much again for being here with us.
My pleasure. Thank you guys for having me.